Evans Tamil Satitene by John Dramani Mahama Ye, not your man as Shannon.
Montuma John Mahama, Montuma John Mahama, Montuma John Mahama, Montuma John Mahama.
Empuntunumantina, Emrantiana said, Namabawe, and Cocrafo, Emroa Phone say,
Montuma John Mahama, Montuma John Mahama, Montuma John Mahama, Montuma John Mahama.
Na Elijah Okosro no de na hodi my Elisha. Mani ye juma bro Elijah juma no sunframe. President John Dramani Mahama obeye no double. Enko fobi kikasa enko yo. Enko ye mponi let the oil flow. Enko ye mponi enjoy your singer's fine. Morning in a free school uniform Saba. It be exercise books.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to this
education,
week's
one
episode
child,
of
one computer.
People's Manifesto program from Omega Live TV from London. As we all know, it has been the talk of the town, the program that everybody wants to hear about. There is so much going on in Ghana. NDC came out with their manifesto, and trust me, it has become the talk of the town. Everybody wants to know what is in it, and we in diaspora also want to know what is in it. Without you or without us coming to you to explain, to debate, to ask questions, and to find out exactly what is in the People's Manifesto, which has gained a lot of popularity in Ghana. Today, we have a lot to talk about. But before then, let's not forget that it's an NDC Manifesto week. And so we have to go straight for the National Democratic Congress anthem. So as we keep going, let's not forget it is amazing. Arise for Ghana, NDC, the National Democratic Congress Manifesto Hour. Today, with me in the studio, we have two gentlemen, very hardworking members of the National Democratic Congress. On my left and to your right, I have Mr. Roger Boko, a businessman and the charter treasurer of the National Democratic Congress. Party in UK and Ireland. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
And to my right and to your left, we have Mr. Conrad Dumba. He is the chairman, the indefatigable chairman from Milton Keynes, branch of the National Democratic Congress. He's a chartered accountant and a finance professional. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, boss.
Thank you. And as the program goes on, we will be working with a resource person who is also a very strong man. He is called Dr. Peter Diza. We will be picking him live as the program goes on. He is also a researcher at the Staffordshire University, also a member of the Academy of Management in UK, a fellow of higher education in UK. Dr. Diza is a human development professional, and we will be speaking to him soon. So on this program today, as I said, it's packed with a whole lot of things that we'd like to discuss. And tonight, the biggest topics that we'll be talking about is the big push. We will be going to our professionals and our specialists to tell us exactly what the big push is all about. The second bit is going to be the Ajumapa. What Ajumapa is all about and what it's bringing to us as Ghanaians. And then the top one, it's the other one that we call the skills development and training for young people and for Ghanaians as a whole. So today, without wasting more time, let's go on to our panelist, Mr. Roger Boko.
Thank you very much, Mr. Musa Ademo.
Thank you.
To start with, I would like us to take us back a little bit, brief history of what went into election until we got to the point that we got to today, which is how people used to vote. In the past, only at one stage, it's only landlords who used to vote in America, in the big democracies. Now it came to only men. No, women were not voting. And then now you have universal suffrage, meaning everybody in the country, in a particular country, is expected to take part in voting. So any political party who is campaigning to come to power need to have the consent or the involvement of every single person in that country to formulate a manifesto. You don't just go and tell the people, yeah, I think you need water, I think you need road or whatever. You must involve every single person in your country to be able to formulate a fantastic manifesto, as the NDC has done. So our manifesto entails so many aspects. Every corner of Ghana has got its input into our manifesto. That's how come our manifesto is making a lot of it's creating confusion in the opposition government in power.
I can imagine.
Now, we have two big agenda today to discuss. We are discussing the big push and what's it called, Ejumapa, which I think is a big way for us to change the fortunes of our people in Ghana.
So, in order not to cut you short, can we start with the big push? Can you tell us something about the big push? What's it all about?
The big push is a broad agenda that's going to propel Ghana, the entire economy from north to south, east to west, into the next generation of development and economic growth. We are talking about, we're going to have a big push in road construction, education, industry, and health. So it entails the biggest, almost all the sectors of our national economy, nothing is being left behind. Everybody is involved in this big push. Every single individual in Ghana, both children, old, young, everybody is part of our agenda of big push. So it's a massive, a well thought through program that Ghanaians will benefit hugely from. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So thank you, Mr. Roger. I'll turn my eyes to Mr. Conrad. Mr. Conrad, what is big push to you?
Thank you very much, Comrade Adamu. I want to tell us what big push would entail, and then I'll set a little bit of the background on why do we need it. Now, we in the NDC, having gone around the length and breadth of Ghana, we spoke to the people and asked them, what do you want? Their aspirations, their dreams is what we've captured in the People's Manifesto. And one of the biggest things that our people talked about is the need for critical infrastructure that will create jobs, unlock all corners of Ghana, and create more economic opportunities, both for the ease of government delivering services to the people, public services, for ease of entrepreneurs being able to start their businesses, create wealth, and create jobs, and at the same time for existing businesses to thrive. And that's why the big push is basically, it's a $10 billion program over a 5-year period between 2021, from January 7, 2021 next year, when we come into power, until 2025. And the key essence of it is to ensure that Ghana gets the critical infrastructure, ports and harbors, railways, roads, aviation, critical IT infrastructure, fiber optic, broadband, make sure that we lay out the key infrastructure needs of the country over the next 5 years to allow the country to take off. We have done it before, the NDC has done it before. Now, if you look at the Achwabo gas processing plant, as we speak now, as of 2019, that single infrastructure project was saving Ghana almost $248 million in gas imports and all that stuff. It is creating jobs. It is allowing power plants that used to import oil and destroy our city in so doing to tap gas from within and create jobs. You know, we built Circle interchange, and it's estimated that it saves us an average of $100 million a year. This is people who have been sat in traffic burning it. Now they are plunging it into expanding their businesses and creating jobs. So the essence of the big push is not just to spend money, because Ghana has spent so much money over the last couple of years since this government came in. The essence of the big push is to create sustainable jobs. As we open up infrastructure, businesses can expand in using that. The construction of all these infrastructure and the big push in itself will create jobs. And we are talking about sustainable jobs, not traffic light type jobs, stop start type of jobs. So in a nutshell, that is what the big push is. And if I may add, some of the things we have said we are going to do under the big push. Look, we are going to construct an inland port at Hamele in the Upper West, for example. We're going to expand Takoradi Harbour all the way to Sekondi, just as we triple the size of Tema Harbour. And why are we going to do this? Once we've done that, we will dedicate the Takoradi Harbour and the Hamele inland port, which is very close to Burkina Faso, for all of the shipping that goes through Ghana to Burkina Faso, Mali, and the Sahelian region. This is definitely creating jobs. If you are a young man in Hamele and you're wondering where you're going to get jobs, we will put an inland port there, and that will trigger jobs. Those of you who know how Tema Port creates jobs, that is what we're going to do. We're going to dualize all the roads in the country, the key roads, Accra Cape Coast, Accra Kumasi, Accra Flau. The pain of sitting in traffic and burning your fuel will no longer be there. You can take that fuel and you can use it to expand your business or do something good for yourself. There are so many things that we want to do, but railways, we are going to connect the country. I mean, this government said in 2017 they were going to start constructing a railway to Paga. As we speak now, the train hasn't even crossed in Sawam. What we have is still what is there. The few rail lines that were built, light rainfall washed them away. You wonder whether we actually push them into the ground or we just laid them. The NDC, when we say we do well. And this big push is to push the country's economy to the next level. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah did similar things in terms of 5-year development plan. This is a 5-year development plan that is meant to propel Ghana to the next level. You know, no country in this world can develop if you don't have the critical infrastructure. And why do we need it now? At the moment, I mean, I'm sure you will come to that question, but there's no better time than now.
Right.
The economy is in doldrums. We need to kickstart it, and the big push is what will happen to do that.
Great. Mr. Roger, can you add, apart from what Mr. Conrad has just come up with, is there any more thing that you want to add on to the big push agenda?
Yes, you know, the last point you touched on the road infrastructure is so vital, even as we have now, because there are so many lives that have been lost on our major roads, where head-on collision are killing a lot of people. It's an emergency situation that needs this development, this road expansion to happen. So look at from Aflao to all the way to Takoradi, Elibo, from Accra to Bolga or in our northern borders, we need to expand those. So they are so vital to our economic development, because when you have people, we are losing so much lives in our highways. It affects growth seriously. So that road issue is very important. And look at the rail sector. Rail sector is so important. Imagine we don't have rail in this country. How is it going to be like in UK here? So those things are so vital to any developing country. So we cannot develop without those two, roads and railways.
This sounds amazing, but how much is it going to cost?
Yes, we have drawn a plan as to how we're going to raise the money. We have a lot of...
I want, how much is this big push going to cost?
This big push is, we estimated about $10 billion for over 5 years period.
$10 billion.
$10 billion.
Fantastic. That is a huge amount of money. Let me go to the finance expert, Mr. Conrad. 10 billion. That is huge. How are you going to raise that money?
Well, I guess the question is, you don't spend money for the joy of it. And so, before we even talk about it's a lot of money, how are you going to raise it? And questions about, do you even need to spend it? We also need to ask ourselves, are we the first to do it? As I said in my previous comments, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah developed Ghana through a series of 5-year development plans, 7-year development plans. When you are about to engage in national development, you make sure you look at the needs of the country, you package it together. And that is why we are building irrigation dams, we are building business parks, ICT parks, railways. It's holistic to ensure that the country can take up on all angles. You don't want the country developing in one way, and then you'll be going like those our go mango buses, when you overload one side and it's going one side alone. That is not what you want. Now, this concept is not new. The mighty United States of America, when they were confronted, in the wake of when Trump took over, he launched a 1.5 trillion, not billion, 1.5 trillion infrastructure plan. I'll tell you why. This country, when we were faced with recession on the back of the 2007 financial crisis into 2008, we launched a 20 billion pound infrastructure program. Crossrail is an example. HS2 is an example. You will build your way out of a crisis, not chop chinam out of it. And I'll tell you why I said we build our way. So even the European Union spent over $262 billion during the last financial crisis, not this COVID-19. And even in COVID-19, we're thinking about it. Now, why does Ghana need it? Our opponents will say, oh, the big push is a joke. Why? Because we got one this, one that. One village, one dam. One district, one factory. As for one village, one dam, I won't talk more because the dams are football parks for the kids to play in. Some of them, you saw the NDC went and held a press conference in the dam. Try that at Akosombo Dam, proper dam. You know what we mean. One district, one factory. The biggest indication that the one district, one factory is a failure is the numbers, the recent economic numbers that came out. For the first time in over 37 years, Ghana slumped. The GDP contracted by 3.2%. And guess what? We've been building one district, one factory. The president has been cutting sword and commissioning all kinds of factories. And we all know, if my brother Doja has a pineapple factory, they'll come to him and say, can we put you under it? And he will scratch his head and say, oh, we'll give you small money. He says, yes, they'll give you money to write his name. They did not increase any productive capacity in the economy. I'll tell you why. Even though the overall economy contracted by 3.2% in quarter 2 of 2020, that's from April to June, manufacturing, which is where all of these one district, one factories come in, because factories are for manufacturing. Factories are not for plain ball. Manufacturing alone collapsed by 14%. How come you are investing in that and yet you are falling back? And this is where ours comes in. The economy is in dire straits. Our debt at the moment is about 258 billion, projected to be 290 billion. We need to grow to be able to settle our debt. And how do you grow? You invest in infrastructure to create jobs, to bring in the revenue.
Yes. So just as you mentioned, 10 billion US dollars.
Yeah.
And you've just mentioned that we are at the moment we owe over 258 billion. Is this not going to add on to the debt stock? Please hold it on. I'll go to Mr. Roger.
I think Ghana is more than capable to raise that kind of money, because when you look at what we have now, we look at what is we are raising out of Get Fund. In total, we are getting almost 2 billion Ghana cedis from Get Fund a year. We look at NHIS, we're getting there almost about 2.1 billion Ghana cedis. That's per year. You look at the consolidated fund, we are looking at around over 600 million Ghana cedi a year. So put all that together, we are looking almost 20 billion a year. You multiply that by our 4 years, you are nearly close to that $10 billion we want to raise. And we have other ways of raising money by bonds raising, or the current government is doing about $3 billion a year as bond. So if you have half of that,
if that is the case,
just to add to what my brother has said, look, what we have said in the NDC is that we will implement this $10 billion program without stressing the current national debt stock.
yeah,
How and why?
If that is the case,
And I will tell you where we are going to get the money
why
from.
Why is it that the current government raising such an amount of money and still the economy is not doing well?
The specific answer to that question is willpower. Since the current government took office 2017 to date, they've borrowed about 150 billion cedis, right? Now, if you take the current exchange rate and you convert that down, the exchange rate is about what? Let's even round it up to 6. It's about 5.8. If you take 140 and you exchange the rate back, every 60 billion, it's $10 billion. Another 60, that's 20 billion. So we have had debt of up to 25 billion over the last 4 years, and yet all we have to show for is factories. And so the answer to that question is willpower. It is not about what you have, it's about what you decide to do with what you have. But let me tell you something. The NDC has done something similar before. When people say, oh no, there's no way you can do it. I'll give you a few projects where we executed them without adding a penny to the national debt. Terminal 3. It didn't add a penny to the national debt. You know what we did? Government has an interest in Ghana Airports Company. So instead of continuously taking our profits from it, government decided to leave the profits there for the company to build its balance sheet and borrow against that balance sheet as a private company and build that edifice. The big ones, go to a trouble gas processing plant. We didn't take a cent. Of course, we remortgaged some of our oil proceeds, but to enable the Chinese to build that. The interesting one was 1 billion, the trouble gas processing plant. The airport, Tema Port expansion, where we expanded, we trebled the capacity of the port and enabled to be able to handle even larger ships. It cost $1.5 billion. How much did we pay? Nothing. It's called BOOT. You build, you own, you operate, you transfer. So you come into the PPPs, public-private partnership. We say, oh, Mr. Adamu, we want to build a port. You work it out. We give you the contract. You go and find your money. And the money for that was predominantly obtained from the IFC, International Financial Corporation, and the World Bank. They funded the Meridian Port Holdings, MPH, to build it. Government didn't spend a cent on it. In return, they built that port, $1.5 billion. They enabled us to receive more ships, bigger ships in the West African sub-region. In fact, it was one of the biggest port funded projects in recent times in West Africa. They will operate it for a period, and by the time they hand it over, we are free. And Mary is another example. You know, in this country, Hinkley Power Point, that's exactly the development model. In the Western world, government focuses on providing public goods, where what you want to do has some profitable element in it, and private sector may want to get involved in it. Virgin runs trains, are they public? So what you do, you allow them
You give them the franchise, you allow them to go borrow on their own balance sheet at their own risk, build that infrastructure, operate it to make their profits from it, and when they are done over the period in the contract, they hand it over. So we have done that before. Now, where will we get that money? My brother started that conversation. We can get that money, and we will get that money from the current situation. The current government has been very reckless. And you see, I've just told you, we borrowed 140 billion, and we have nothing substantive to show for it. He started Get Fund. There's something that this government has been doing since 2017. They have capped, you see, Get Fund, the whole idea of Get Fund is there's a certain portion of VAT that goes to Get Fund, right? So when the money comes, we should give it to Get Fund free. You know what Oforiatta has been doing? Since 2017, he worked out wisely that, oh, these guys, that's the money, but we will not give all of the money to Get Fund. So how much have they been capping? So capping means the money comes in, you are supposed to get everything. I decide that I'll keep a certain portion of it. So every year since 2017, about $900 million on average has been capped away from Get Fund. So the money comes to go to Get Fund. And what is Get Fund to be used for? Building schools. And we don't have schools. And yet we take 900 million out of it and give them the rest instead of giving them all. We have said we'll reverse that cap. So note that that's 900. In addition, whatever is left, almost 2.2 billion that goes to Get Fund. You and I know. All they've said is they'll build a toilet as a school, add 3 classroom blocks to it. We have said, look, you need critical school infrastructure to reduce double track, and to make sure each school you build gets a head teacher, gets teachers. That is jobs. That's what we mean by sustainable jobs.
Yeah,
so
but we'll come to sustainable jobs.
Yes.
I just want us to.
I'm trying to get down to the numbers. Yes. Yeah. So of the 2.2 that goes to Get Fund, right? The 2.2, we'll earmark 50% of it for the big push. Because Get Fund is about building education infrastructure, and that will go towards infrastructure. 50% for 2.2 is what? 1.1. Add that to the other 900 that we will uncap. That's 2 billion a year. If it's a 5-year program, multiply 2 billion by 5. What do you get? That's 10 billion. Write that one down.
Yeah.
Then my brother went to Get Fund. See the capping arrangement I talked about on Get Fund. These men did the same thing on Get Fund. Sorry, National Health Insurance Fund. So when National Health Insurance Fund is supposed to get money that comes to them, you know what happens? Oforiatta will balance 900 million of it into his pocket. And it goes into the budget for Kenke parties. We are saying the Kenke parties will stop. That 900 million will go again towards what? Our project. Now, in addition to that, like I said earlier, whatever is of the 900 that is capped out, about an extra 2 billion goes to National Health Insurance Fund. Again, we are going to take 50% of it for infrastructure. Because you see, if you chop your salary on Kenke and fish all the time, there will be nothing left. You need to make some savings to be able to build a house, to be able to buy a car, or to start a business. You see, so that is what we're saying. So of that 2 billion that goes to them, we can earmark 50% of it. Now that's 2 billion going to them. We're earmarking 50%, which is 1 billion. The other 900 that Oforiatta was putting in his pocket for Kenke party, we add it. That's 1.9 million. You multiply that by add that to the 1 billion. That's 1.9. You multiply it by 7. You are getting almost 9.3 billion thereabouts. Road fund that has always come. Again, this government has realigned the monies. So it's simple. The money comes in. Road fund is supposed to build a road infrastructure. Exactly. That's why road fund was there. But what do? We slice a part of it. We put it into our pot and another Kenke party at Ministry of Finance. We are saying that again, the road fund brings in about 2.4 billion a year. We will take another 50% of it, right? And then, in fact, we dedicate all of the 2.4 a year to the big push. The final thing is, you see, we go to borrow Euro bonds. Every year, government of Ghana goes to borrow $3 billion. We will come in, and then $1 billion we will use to pay our debt, because you see, we are borrowing a lot. You know, when you borrow more, interest goes up.
Yeah, obviously.
So we are using 1 billion to manage our debt portfolios in terms of paying interest and the portion of the principal that has to go. The other 2 billion, you know where it goes?
No.
It goes straight into budget. Okay. And when we do budgets, you can choose to invest in infrastructure, or you can choose to invest in Kenke, Chinam.
Okay.
We spend $2 billion a year on Chinam. What we are saying is that, again, all that money, let's assume we carry on with that $3 billion every year. We will earmark half of it, 1.5 billion, for infrastructure. And that's why if you look at the capital spend of Ghana, it has been collapsing. We've got more money, but we are spending it on consumption. You know, when you see consumption 6 hours, it digests, it disappears. So if you take that 1.5 billion we say we are going to do, multiply that 1.5 by 5 years. Remember, our program is supposed to be 5 years, right? So if you add all of those ones together, the GET fund I talked about, 2 billion over 5 years, it's 10 billion. The National Health Insurance cap we talked about over 5 years will be 9.5 billion. The road fund, you can, let's assume we will get that, you can put that at 3 billion. The 1.6 billion I talked about, 1.5 billion I talked about, multiply that by 5, I mean, that was $1.5 billion, right? So if you multiply that by 5, you get what? I mean, even for it's 7.5 billion. If you multiply it by the 5 year period we're talking about, that's 7.5 billion. Now today's exchange rate is about 5.8. Let's assume that over the next 5 years we'll sit around 6. Multiply that that by 6, you sit about 45 billion. If you add all of them, we're sitting at 67.5 billion. What we said is that the big push will cost what? $10 billion. Use the same exchange rate of 6 we talked about. That's 6 times 10 billion. You get what? 60 billion.
Right.
So these sources we have talked about, we raised 67.5 billion. And all we are doing is we are realigning and rededicating existing money that this government is spending on KK parties onto building infrastructure.
Great.
If we do that, we will even have change. We have change of 7.5 billion. So the funding is not a problem. The money, Ghana, I'm not going to behave like about me and say I know the money is at Bank of Ghana, we won't borrow. Whatever resources are already there, approved to, we don't even need to go and borrow.
Okay, so you've now proven to me, and you sound convincing. What I want to know, and I'll get to you, Mr. Roger, can you mention some of the specific projects that this 10 billion is going to go to?
Yes, thank you very much. Our 10 billion, as my comrade initially mentioned, we are going to technology, because the world has gotten to a turning that without technology, your economy will be lagging behind. We're going to invest them in technology. We are going to invest them in roads from, I mean, the whole length of Ghana, north, south, east to west. That's the only way you can get goods from agricultural areas into the cities or into the industries in good time, so that you don't lose the quality of a product due to transport. With that, you gain a lot of time. Time is, as we said, is money. We don't waste time transporting our goods. Railways, we need railway, very important, from north to the south, so as to be able to even carry human beings. Like passengers can travel from north to Accra, do whatever they have to do, and go back in good time. But once you're able to move people around the country in good time, you are opening up your economy, because somebody can do business in Accra today, and by the evening time he's back into the north without any problem. But as it stands now, we are not able to do those things. We are looking at expanding hospitals. We know human lives cannot be priced. It's priceless. So we have regional hospital in all the new created regions added to existing ones, and we look at districts that need regional district hospital. We are going to build all of those. We move on to water supply. By the time NDC finishes its first term, 2025, every village should have water, potable water, so as to avoid some avoidable diseases that is currently we are experiencing in Ghana today. We are looking at what you call the movie sector, for instance. We need to, I mean, movie, as we see it, is not just like entertainment. It's a part of culture. We need to actually keep our culture, our tradition alive through movie and acting. It's been a while since we've seen this Akan drama and all those things. They've always all gone back into behind our TV screens. We are now looking at soap operas and all that, bringing foreign culture that is making our people lose their identity. We must bring that back. A people without identity is a lost people. We need that back in our fold. So with this investment in NAFTI, we are able to do what? Allow our people to develop mentally, have self-confidence that being an African or being a Ghanaian is not a crime, but it's a privilege. You understand? And we look at tourism, for instance. We have so many tourism attractions in Ghana, both from north to south. What do we do with it? Because of lack of infrastructure, people are afraid to move from even Accra to Cape Coast. Look at the number of accidents we experience on those roads. Which expatriate will want to come to a country where, by traveling on road alone, the danger of having 25% involving an accident, it's quite scary for anybody to travel on those roads. So those we need those roads to make sure that our road network is safe to travel on. Plus, you know, with roads, some roads can generate their own income by road tolls and all that. You understand? If you have good marine transport, you can travel the coast from, what is it called, from Tema to Takoradi with ease. You understand? So this big push is, to me, a massive asset that if NDC being given the chance, Ghana is not going to be as it is today.
Fantastic. So hold it there. Let me go straight
Just to
up
add
to
to what
my brother Conrad. Can you tell us some of the projects that you think this 10 billion can go into it, and then we'll move on to the next.
Already talked about water projects for communities that don't have it, rural electrification, expanding it, because we have power. You see, the irony of Ghana now is this government complains that, oh, there's excess power, so we're exporting to Burkina Faso. Good. But there are still people in Ghana that are using lanterns and wicks and candles. So we should electrify the whole of Ghana. If you electrify all of those areas, straight away pure water business will start in that area because there's electricity.
Is there anything? Is there anything in there for
yes,
agriculture?
Yes. Exactly. Look, rural electrification. I talked about irrigation earlier on.
Right.
We are going to have build irrigation dams. We are going to build agri service centers to tend to the farmers. We are going to make it more attractive for people to engage in what? In agriculture. But because you need the facilities. We've talked about the Swami Industrial Park. We're going to build industrial parks as well. That will also enable our artisans to be able to self-express and to be able to make money through the facilities available. My brother has already talked about, look, some of the problems this government has created, we will fix them through this. We said we'll abolish VSSS. We're going to build the schools that are needed to abolish it. In a previous appearance on this TV, I mentioned the number of new schools we needed. We will spend that money to build it. All universities, you see, all new regions were created without any plan for hospitals. We created new districts without any plan for making sure that those districts have hospitals. And when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama promised earlier in the year that he will build all the 88 districts with our hospitals, he will build hospitals for them, and he will build for all the new 6 regions hospitals for them. Our good old president went ahead and also repeated that without having any idea where he was going to build them. In fact, he said he was going to start in June. Today, they are saying they have started cutting swords. They use the same amount. This is going to build hospitals in all the new regions and in all districts with our hospitals. And we are going to build universities as well in all these new regions. We are going to convert the National Sports College into a sports university. And we are going to make NAFTI, my brother talked about film industry. We are going to convert NAFTI into a university for the performing arts. Now, if you look at all these things, hospitals create jobs. There will be nurses, there will be porters, there will be doctors, there will be radiologists.
Thank you very much. I think we'll get into that. But what I want us to look into is that now I'm sure we've had enough of getting more explanation in terms of the big push. We have the second topic that we need to go through and then go through the third one. But the second one is definitely the almighty Ajumapa. Ajumapa work. I think I'll start with Mr. Roger. Can you tell us what Ajumapa is all about? And then we'll ask Mr. Conrad to add something to it as well.
Ajumapa is a grand project that is going to reduce drastically our unemployment rate in Ghana. Because we see on the streets of Ghana a lot of young people, able-bodied men and women, loitering our streets, having nothing to do. And that is a lost income to government. If imagine all those young men and women working, they will definitely pay income tax. That's revenue to government. So the big Ejumapa is going to use everybody, every able-bodied young person, adult, any adult who is capable of working, to get into any job that they are capable of doing.
Okay.
So that they are able to live a decent life, not a handout, a life of being taken, getting handout from family members or politicians or whatever. We are going to make every single individual able to earn their own money, no matter what level of education or no matter where they live, which corner they live in Ghana. For instance, NDC had identified so many different sectors where those jobs can be created. We can create many jobs in the private sector plus the public sector. When you look at our agenda for allowing private companies tax-free, first year tax-free from the birth of the company to, its growth. You give companies free hands to, work, not to be worried about tax. Tax is an disincentive for many businesses. You start businesses, the next month, the tax man is at your door, he wants tax. It's so discouraging. So we are going to give them free hand. It's a year or so. I think it's a 12-month free hand to, to do business. So we look at, let's say, for instance, the industrial sector, for instance. You can create jobs in agriculture. We can create job in what's it called? Fat production. Mm-hmm. You understand? So we have created sectors: private, agriculture, light manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, and furniture production. Okay. So our manifesto is actually well detailed. We know exactly what is being done in any sector. Look at, we have private sector, 90,000 jobs per year. Right. We look at agriculture, we have 35,000 jobs in agriculture. We look at manufacturing, 30,000 jobs, pharmaceutical. In the past, we have actually helped them with funds to, expand. We are looking at creating 21,000 jobs there. And our carpenters and craftsmen, we are looking at around 15,000 with that. So per year. So look at, by the time 4 years is done, we are able to maximize the energy of our youth into productive, have a quality of life that is meaningful.
Okay.
Understand?
Thank you very much.
We are looking at, that's only the private sector. When you come to the public sector, we have identified vacancies in the public sector. When it comes to education, you normally have a ratio to teacher to people or teacher to student. Ghana, for instance, we are short of that figure. We are far below what is the standard UNICEF rate. Okay. So we identify we were able to create in education alone about over 60,000 jobs per year. We look at the public sector, that is the military. Mm-hmm. We are going to create jobs there that are around 40,000 jobs there. We look at our ministries and government departments. There are some sectors that we haven't actually used and they are underutilized.
Okay, so you hold on, take a breath, and let's go to Conrad. Conrad, the Ejumapa. First of all, why Ejumapa? And what is exactly in Ejumapa? Adding to what Mr. Roger has already given us.
Yeah, so
So the term Ejumapa, you see, when we went on our tour and spoke to Ghanaians and people said we had no ideas, we were just looking for anything at all. What people said is they didn't want jobs that were like a switch. Today is lights on, you go to work. Tomorrow light off, no work. They wanted sustainable and decent jobs. That's the creation. And that is why we use the local balance, Ejumapa. Now somebody will say that means there are also other jobs called Ejumaboni. That one, I won't go into it. But you see, you want the ordinary Ghanaian to secure a job. One, they can beat their chest, that is my job. I know that job, it's decent and it's sustainable. Not light on, light off. Why do I say light on, light off? We have had a history in Ghana of creating jobs that disappear and nobody even remembers. Remember Zoom Lion jobs? And the former president Kufuor, I remember back in the day, 2006, 2007. Anytime I used to work in Tama there. You drive from America House, go straight to Kponglo Junction. You see several people all in yellow, sweeping the street. It was never a sustainable thing. It disappeared on its own. We don't even know where they are now. Zoom Lion cleaners. Now, we have so many similar ones. We have NAPCO. NAPCO is a laudable initiative. The problem you have with NAPCO is it expires after a period. It's fully capped at 100,000 jobs over the life of NAPCO from 2017. And you know, ironically, they politically made it such that it's expiring next year. And they sold it to the NAPCO people. If you vote for NDC, NDC will scrap it, so there are no jobs. That is not a sustainable job. A job you are paying somebody 700 cedis a month. And yet, you are like President Kufuor said, Ghanaians pretend to work and government pretends to pay them. That's the kind of jobs that we created. They are not sustainable. Now, what we have said is we will turn that NAPCO into a Jumapa by making them permanent.
So
you know
how many jobs are you looking at creating with a Jumapa?
We said we are going to create 250,000 jobs a year. Yeah? Under this. Somebody will say, no, that's not possible. You see, we talked about the things we're going to do. Markets. We are building markets across the length and breadth of the country. So many KJTS will be situated. People will automatically take advantage of those. We are building hospitals, every hospital. Remember I was telling you about, you list the number of jobs, right, that are in a hospital. From nurses, to doctors, to porters, to all those clerks. That is job creation. So we will look at this from the three areas of how we intend to create jobs. Expanding the public sector to service the people. Making sure we're expanding the current private sector to ensure that they're able to expand, and we've done it before. And at the same time, creating entrepreneurial jobs. Creating a platform for entrepreneurs to thrive, grow their businesses, create wealth, and therefore create jobs. We said we will look, anybody who's currently in NAPCO is at a ministry somewhere or with somebody doing a job. If that job is worth doing by the NAPCO man, why are you going to tell him it's only 3 years? Why don't you just make him permanent? And that's what we said we're going to do, right? And this, you see, if you look at it, this manifesto, we call it the People's Manifesto. It is a manifesto with linkages. It is not a manifesto that says every district will get a factory. So even if my district is on the hills in Tongo, you come and put it there, and then you now work out what they are going to do with that factory. We just talked about what? The big push. That big push, in the course of being implemented, will create jobs. Now, there are people now who have no skills. When you are building a port, for example, they will go and train off as specialist welders or engineers. That becomes a career that they have for life. You've given them the skills, you've given them a job, and they'll be there. If we build that port at Amele we talked about, you see Tema, it's, of course, Goro boys are there making money. There are immigration people there, customs people there collecting taxes. If you build another port at Mahamele, are you going to move all the Tema people there? No, you're going to create new jobs there. Yeah. And so that's why we said, look, on the public sector front, we're going to do a human resource gap analysis. We know, and it's a fact, that our public sector is struggling for depth of skills. There are key skill areas that are needed to make sure that the public sector deliver public goods to people. But we can't because we lack them. I mean, Nanado did well by funding the Auditor General to expand. That is the kind of thing we are talking about. If we build more schools, right, teachers and all those people will be there. That is part of the whole thing we are talking about, skills. And so this is a well thought through program where we are delivering. We just talked about the infrastructure big push. As you deliver them, they will automatically create jobs. And I'll give you one good example. I talked about MPH, the expansion of the Tema port to triple it. We used to process about 1 million 20-footer containers a year. This triple it to 3 million with that. The experts, and I'm not saying it, you can go and find out. The experts estimated that it created up to 45,000 direct jobs there. And guess what? almost 450,000 interlinked jobs to just the tripling.
Right.
So if you take that as an example, right? If one project alone could create up to 450,000 jobs, and these are the experts speaking, not my miserable self here. What do you think will happen if we expand Takoradi Port to all the way to Sekondi? If we build an inland port at Hamile, if we dualize roads, if we build 88 district hospitals, 6 regional hospitals, and we build universities, 6 universities in all the regions. We build a NAFTI university. We build a national sports university. All the universities, they have got by chancellors.
Yeah, just let me be a little bit. Let me not
just to
cut
land
you
on
short.
education.
Yeah.
Ghanaians are highly skilled. The problem we have in Ghana is the opportunities. And you see, you develop an economy or you create jobs. There are 3 angles to it. 1, the opportunities. 2, the skills. And 3, of course, the linkages, which we can talk about quite shortly. The problem we have is there are very many skilled graduates, skilled plumbers. The problem is there is nowhere to get in.
So let me just not cut you short back. Is this not just a political talk?
Well, I just give you an example. See, the NDC, when we talk, we walk our walk. We don't make plenty noise and then wait till 3 months we will be cutting swords when there's no money. We have a track record. You see, one thing you have to, we said under the jobs is, we will not, as I told you, we won't create sack our jobs that will disappear when we are gone.
Right.
A 12 gas processing plant, we built it. The
It's
people
still
working there, are they not still in?
They are still in place.
And as a result of that, we have reverse flowed it into the Tema enclave, where companies that were spending money to import expensive oil in foreign currency, it's helping our city because they are not doing it. But it also means they can then divert that money into expansion. That is why Doomsor is gone, because John Mahama built not only the gas processing to go there, but it created jobs. You see, and we have said it is not a political game. Some of the things we said we are going to do, we have done them before. I've given the example as well, the 450,000 jobs. If we have never had a track record of doing that, then you can say, oh, you guys are just talking. But we've been there before. We've done it, and this time round, we are scaling it up.
You know.
Good. Thank you. Hold on for a second. Ladies and gentlemen, you're still watching Omega Live TV from London studios, and you are with us as your host, Musa Adamu, the organizer for NDC UK and Ireland, and I'm in the seat today. We still remind you that there's still going to be opportunity for you to call in. So as you are listening, please make your notes, and we'll get back to you. We will also remind you that very soon we will have a specialist who is into human resource development to join us via telephone link very soon. But let's continue with our topic as we just finished with a big push and landed in the Ajumapa. I know that there's more that you guys are very, very thirsty for. And I'll go ahead straight away to ask Mr. Roger to add some meat to the Ajumapa, and then we can move on to the next.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adamo. You know, if you were asking my brother if it's not only a political talk, no, any job that you take pains, any document that you take pains to produce cannot be just political talk. We took our time to produce, to come up with this manifesto. And the manifesto is so detailed that everybody can relate to it. You look at, we studied our immigration system, what they are lacking, the police system, the military. We look at education, we look at our doctors, our nurses, we look at even our engineers. So we studied the whole landscape of Ghana, where there are loopholes, where we can help, where we can, so that the country itself can be solid in all aspects. So it cannot be just a political talk, because it's a work that it's a document that we took time to produce by doing scientific research and using experts to come up with this program. And anything that we are talking about today in the manifesto, you could see they need whatever solution we are providing. That's how come you see everybody is talking about our Ejumapa manifesto.
Great. Everybody is talking about Ejumapa manifesto. And let's not forget, as I keep reminding you, you are live on Omega Live TV, all the way from London. And you are listening in to the NDC Manifesto Hour. The manifesto that is creating waves all over the world. The manifesto that is on the lips of everyone. As we still talk talk, brothers and sisters, people want to know what exactly is going on, and that is why we have taken the pain and the time to go through one after the other to make sure that every single person relates. And it's not a coincidence, because this manifesto, as we call it, People's Manifesto, it came directly from the people. When it started, many people were making fun of it. Many people were talking down on it until it came out, and people are now shaking. People are even making promises that they don't even have in their own manifestos. This is the power of thinking outside the box. So now we're going to the last topic, which is the biggest that I, Musa Adamu, think that we need to concentrate on or look more, and that is the skills development and training. As we all know, we would like to create more businesses, more industries, but if we don't have the right professionals, if we don't have the right people to go into it, we're going to struggle. So right now we are around the skills and development, skills development and training. Mr. Roger, can you tell us if there's anything in the manifesto that talks about development or skills development and training?
Thank you very much, Musa, once again. You know, if you cannot talk about development if you don't have the quality human resource that could drive that development. We cannot all be lawyers. We cannot all be accountants. We cannot all be doctors. Every sector has specialty need and training. Even before you go to, you do carpentry, you need to be trained. We all have furnitures in our homes. You need carpenters to do it, but they don't stop there. They can move. They can move up if they want to leave carpentry. They go to a different profession. But you must create the enable environment for the people to move, to change, to develop themselves into whatever capacity they want to see themselves. Not to discourage them by looking down or on certain jobs. If somebody is working in a factory, does the factory need manpower? Yes. Somebody must do it. So we are creating a situation where we train every young person. I think it's for free. Whatever training you want to go into, the government will take care of it. You train yourself, start working, but you mustn't stop. You don't have to stop there. If you wish, you can develop yourself into becoming, going to managerial level. You understand? So our program has a lot of skill development from TVET. Is it TVET?
Yeah.
Where, you know, once you go to school, we all ask, what do you want to do as you grow? When do you want to do as you grow? But this program is going to allow everybody, every young person, to choose whatever job they want to train into. Once you are there, you are encouraged by giving you exposure. I mean, here we have internships where after training you are taken to an industry related to your whatever skill you've learned, and then you try your hand on how you are going to become, how you're going to operate if you are out there in the labor market. So our program is designed to make sure no job is looked down onto. You must learn in school, get a certificate. Many of the jobs that we do are like we look at mechanics and carpenters. Many of them, they don't really have education certificates. I've got this certificate from a school. So it could be a reason why some people look on them, because they don't have certificate. They call them certificate-less people. But we're going to formalize this sector so that you go into this training, come out with certificate. Everybody knows, yes, I'm proud of being trained as a mechanic, a carpenter, a mason, or whatever. And if you're a professional, you work with confidence, you charge for your service, knowing that the person who is taking your service knows, yes, this guy has been trained, he's certified. You understand?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Roger. And now I will go on to Conrad.
Yeah, thank you. Just before I come into that, there was
And
one small
also-
thing I wanted to.
Also, before let me, I want us to get. I know there is skills and training. Can you go into specifics of what kind of skills, what kind of provisions that has been made in the manifesto that can give us a roadmap? I heard he mentioned TVET. What is TVET? What is innate? And what should we look up to?
Okay. Yeah, so I'll answer that. I just wanted to tidy up something on the previous one. You see, when I talked about sustainable jobs, the economy is critical in that. And again, onto the question of doubting whether those jobs can be created and or sustained, we intend to make sure that the macro fundamentals of the economy are stabilized. We will have sustainable growth. And you'll ask me, oh, but you only got 3.4 in your last year. Fine, we got 3.4. This year, we are going to get 0.9. And bear in mind, the NDC has done it before. In the history of Ghana, it is only the NDC that has given Ghana a 14% growth rate. We've done it before, and we can do it. Now, in terms of even creating more, I said one of the things we're going to do was support the private sector. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama injected almost $50 million into some pharmaceutical companies in Ghana. And that led to them expanding and exporting to West African countries. Of course, if they expand, to employ more people, right? So I just wanted to lay that context. And of course, we're going to reverse this scrappage vehicle, what do you call it? Second-hand vehicles ban. Because we're not going to get the people in Abosu Okai or Swami out of business. We're reversing it. We're not going to take Ghanaian jobs and give it to VW. VW can come in and compete, but we'll let that happen. Now, let's come to your question. TVET is basically technical, vocational education, and training. There's education and there is training. And my brother has already talked about a lot. You see, one of the flagship things we said we were going to do in terms of scaling up. Remember I talked about the triangle, the job triangle. You have to create opportunities. Now, if you go to the job center website today, here, we don't have one in Ghana, but NDC is going to set one up. And that's part of what we said we're going to do. We'll set up a job center, equivalent of a job center in Ghana. You can go online and you see what jobs are there and you can apply for them. And of course, we incentivize employers who use that job center to make sure that give them tax incentives to ensure that they can allow their jobs to be listed there for anybody in Bunkurugu to just go on his phone, go online and see a job in time and apply rather than having to drive down. But I thought, let me come back to the skills element. If we do the big push and have all those opportunities there, and we don't have, if you like, specialist skills in those areas, it will not work. Or we'll end up importing foreigners to do the job and take the money back. And that is where we talked about TVET. We have said that TVET will be free at secondary level and free at tertiary level. And I've given this example elsewhere. If you are a graphic designer, when you are going to secondary school, it will be free. We include it in the free SHS. When you finish that and you want to study graphic design at the technical university level, it will be free as well. And guess what? The sweetness. We also have skills development fund. We have a youth entrepreneurs development program. And what it's meant to do is you get free TVET at secondary. You get free TVET at tertiary. You come out, you want to start your business. Under our YEDEP program, Young Entrepreneurship Development Program, you don't want to go to somebody or work for somebody. You want to start your own. We will provide support for you there, both technical and financial seed capital to kick off. Because if you, in entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial finance, if you look at the key stages, there are about 5 key stages in any entrepreneur taking off. You have the development stage where you have come up with the idea. I want to build this. I want to become this person. I want to do this business. You have the startup where you start on a small scale. Then you have the next critical stages. You see, when you are, if you want to start an engineering business and you are not an engineer, you may struggle. So what we are saying is the technical skills you need to run the business. I mean, presumably you are a plumber. You want to set up as a one man, or your Kingdom Furniture. You are starting a new one. We will help you get that technical skill or support, and will provide seed capital to take off. That should create more entrepreneurial businesses for the country to take off. And you ask me, how are you going to do that? The National Apprenticeship Scheme. In this country, across the globe, we know that the difference between coming out of level 400 in university and getting into job can sometimes be the taster. Because half the time, our educational curriculum has not got much bearing with what's on the field. And that is where the National Apprenticeship Program comes in. We will encourage Kasapreko and Co., GASEM and Co. to absorb people
and we'll give them tax incentives to absorb people in their technical areas. So if you're a chemical engineer and you come out and you want to work in any area where there's any chemical plant in Ghana that wants to hire you, we encourage them to do that for you on an entrepreneurship basis. We will pay you as an entrepreneur to train. We will incentivize the employer to take you as an apprentice. And once you come out with those skills, you're employable. Because most people, the CV is rich. Distinction. You were first in class from KG1 all the way to university distinction. But when they ask you, have you got any experience? No. And that is where the National Entrepreneurship Program. So it's a well thought out program I talked about. We will create the opportunities. We will create the schools for you to learn. But we will also bridge the gap between experience and pure education to make sure we have well-trained, holistic professionals in Ghana. Be they subsea plumbers, be they electricians, whatever they are. And if you are a hairdresser and you train and come out, we'll give you that startup fund to take off. So this is, see, it is said in Latin, vox populi, vox dei. The voice of the people is the voice of God. This manifesto
let me learn
is a manifesto of the people.
It says
and I just say a manifesto from God.
Vox populi,
vox dei.
Vox dei.
Good.
That is the voice of the people.
Well, it's voice of God.
Hallelujah.
We have gone to the people, we have taken their consent. Because a lot of people complain, I've been sitting home 4 years now. No, anytime I apply, they say, oh, you are distinction in philosophy, no job here. You are distinction in architecture, no job here. Wow. That is where that entrepreneurship gap comes in. If you want to be an entrepreneur, we'll help you. If you want to get into the job and you don't have skills, National Apprenticeship Program will give you that spark and get you into the job.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Conrad. You are still listening into Omega Live TV, straight away from London studios. I would like to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will have a specialist in the person of Dr. Ziza, who is the human development expert. So as soon as we come back, he will be joining us. We know that we have Mr. Roger here, we have got Mr. Conrad here. They are from the NDC, UK and Ireland, and they're talking for their party. But then we also want to hear from a third person, let's say an expert, who is also into human development, and all these projects and things that we're talking about is all about human development. So let's not forget that you can sell your own business. Let's say, they say, doing business without advertisement is like working in the dark. You know what you are doing, nobody else does. So after these commercials, we will go straight to Dr. Ziza, who is a human expert. So producer, can I get the commercial going, please?
Changing Ghana. Mahama is changing Ghana. Walk on God. If I want to shiba okwa, that is the party and I egba. Put your one to a mojo mother. Yakwa gashu, la fella. Pasuma baki. And what repack by two berry. You are job on a matter de shit. But this is still a shemuna chiki. What do mobi come of warrior? Somewhere so now hey jabado. What do mobi come of warrior? Germany. Changing Ghana. Mahama is changing Ghana.
You know that this has been the Omega Live TV from London, and this is NDC Manifesto Hour. As I promised you earlier on, we do have a human development expert, and I am going to take my time to tell you exactly who this gentleman is. His name is Dr. Peter Ndc, a member of the British Academy of Management, BAM for short in UK. He's also a fellow of Higher Education Academy, HEA for short. He's a researcher at the Staffordshire University. Dr. Ndc, you are welcome to NDC Manifesto Hour. Hello.
Thank you, Mr. Adamo. Thank you for your invitation. And
good. You're welcome. So as the conversation has been going on, I'm sure you are monitoring the conversation and listening into all these gentlemen coming out with all the figures, telling us, explaining to us what it's all about. And I know that you have taken a special interest in the NDC Manifesto. Today, we were talking specifically on job creation. We also talked about the big push, and we've talked about Ajumapa, which is the job creation, sustainable job creation, development and skills development and training, which I am sure that you've been listening to. Dr. Ndc, what is your take on this?
thank you, Mr. Adamo, and the two gentlemen in the studio. Thank you for your viewers as well. The bane of Africa is mainly lack of concerted efforts by various governments, to be precise, to invest in infrastructure development. When we take Ghana, for instance, the first time a government makes such an effort is when the colonial government in 1902 invested in the rail sector by just constructing 2 rail lines from the south, that's the port, to the mining areas, and 2 to the Ashanti, the forest area, with the aim of transporting just the minerals resources to the hinterland to the port. Advantage, this has opened up the cocoa industry, and Ghana all of a sudden became the first producer of cocoa in the world. This position we held till around 1980 when we were taken over by Burkina Faso. Why? Because various governments have reneged on their job or refused to invest in infrastructure. So by 1990, a lot of infrastructure invested by the colonial administration, and especially Kwame Nkrumah, have deteriorated beyond repairs. So cocoa produced got stuck in the hinterland, cannot be transported to the coast. So we lost that enviable position as the first country, or the first country in we lost our position as the highest producer of cocoa to Cote d'Ivoire. Secondly, Kwame Nkrumah was the next government that has actually, Kwame Nkrumah's government was the next government in Ghana that made conscious effort in production, in infrastructure development. In his 5-year development plan, a lot of efforts were made to invest in infrastructure. So you see the Akosombo Dam, you see the Tamamoto Way. In his 7-year development plan, he budgeted $2.8 billion US dollars on infrastructure in Ghana. However, that couldn't see the end of the day as his government was overthrown. And since then, subsequent military regimes refused to invest in infrastructure development in Ghana. That has actually brought us to where we are. However, going through the NDC manifesto, remind me that this is the 3rd time. If they are able to win the election, then NDC, the next NDC administration, will be the next or the third government that has made conscious effort to invest in infrastructure. Going through their big push agenda, I realized that it's just an accelerated infrastructure development plan of the NDC, where over 10 billion US dollars will be invested in provision of infrastructure. And this what they quote named the big push. And indeed it's a push because investing 10 billion, as I've already said, Kwame Nkrumah in his 7-year development plan budgeted for just 2.8 billion. And through wise investment, we have seen a lot of development projects before his government was overthrown. Investing 10 billion, I think, is a substantial amount that will push infrastructure of Ghana. This, when done, listen, will help drive the employment and entrepreneurial agenda of the NDC government. And this is what they named a Jumapa. Because investing in infrastructure, don't forget, the biggest employer in every economy, it is infrastructure, road construction, housing, telecommunication. All these things are infrastructure investments, and they help propel every economy forward. The importance of infrastructure in economic development cannot be overemphasized. It is referred to as key driver for progress and critical enabler for productivity and sustainable economic development. You know, when NEPA was inaugurated in Ghana, that's around President Kufuor's time. The aim of NEPA, that's the New Partnership for African Development, they realized that infrastructure, lack of good infrastructure in Africa was a bane. So what shall we do? NEPA was introduced. And NEPA recognized that infrastructure development is the key to social and economic transformation of every country. Let me remind you of one of infrastructure experts, that's Antonio. He once said in a conference I've attended, he indicated that better quality and quantity of infrastructure raises productivity, human and physical capital, and this creates growth. So you cannot be talking about growth in Ghanaian economy without making conscious effort to invest in infrastructure. And this is what has failed Ghana since independence. Or that's after the overthrow of Kwame Nkrumah 1966. Subsequent government has forgotten about infrastructure. That is why you can see rising unemployment in Ghana. In actual fact, the location of Ghana is in such a way that we should not go through what we are going through. Let me give you just a quick statistics. Currently, only 38% of people in Africa have access to electricity. What has the previous government did? That's the Mahama administration. They decided to invest in electricity. And a lot of power badges and others were procured because they aim at supplying electricity to the South region. Kwame Nkrumah did that by supplying electricity to Togo and Benin for a cost. And that earns revenue for the country. That vision was dead immediately Kwame Nkrumah's government was overthrown. However, when Mahama came back to power, that vision was revived. And a lot of investment were made into the electricity industry. And can you just imagine, only 38% of people in Africa have access to electricity. So if current government were to continue on that trajectory, by this time, we should be exporting power to maybe Mali. And that will earn us a lot and employ a lot of idle hands. Let's look at internet, for instance. The whole of Africa, internet penetration is just about 10%. And the previous Mahama administration also made efforts by laying this fiber optic cable from the south to the north. So you can just imagine the vision of that particular government. It's just a matter of crossing the border to Cote d'Ivoire, and these things will be sold, and it will earn revenue. So location of Ghana is so quite strategic. We are at the far. We can develop, for instance, let me tell you about the port, Tema Port. Goes from the hinterland, that's Mali and others, are cleared at Tema. And they are talking about developing the Hamile to serve as inland ports. Those are the things that make a country develop. Those are projects, not urinal, not toilets, not boreholes. In fact, Ghana has gone a long way. I've never thought of it for once that you go back to those days where we will be counting toilets as development projects in Ghana. But that's what we are seeing. All the things I've listed were abandoned.
Yeah,
The fiber optic that was laid was abandoned.
Dr.
Yep.
Let me push this a bit. Can you actually tell us if this idea of the NDC or the proposal of NDC is actually feasible?
Why not? Why not? Why is it not visible? Why is it not visible? Because currently, we have the potential to do that. Let's look at the number of ministers this government has are serving in this government. I have even lost count the last time I read. Is it 120 something?
Can you say that again?
I'm saying that let's look at the number of ministers this government has got.
Right.
The current government.
About 124.
Is 124 a job that was done by 90 or 80 ministers? You have increased the number to that level. You know, that is not all. When you increase the number, you increase a lot of things. There are cars, 4x4, housing, servants, cleaners. All those things are at a cost to the state. Look at special assistants. Currently, all the ministers have special assistants. Right. Something that was quite unheard of. And all those guys are feeding on the national pet. And they've created this type of temporary job at the castle, where every foot soldier is moved to the castle to serve on whatever it is. Some of them, I understand, are just on the phone, on the Facebook all day, and they are paid. Those are waste of resources. No country developed by such things. Every country developed by making conscious effort to invest in infrastructure. And
okay,
that is the only way.
So, as if I understand you, you are definitely saying that a lot of waste in the system can be cut out.
Can be cut out.
Okay.
Yes.
So, because of time, can I move on to, because you are also into education, and we have looked at the point where we have the skills development and training. Yep. What is your take on that particular side? Being very conscious that you are into education and you are also human development expert.
Yeah. In education, the fair thing to do is to establish more educational facilities. It's not going into any school and build 3 classroom blocks. The problem we have since Kwame Nkrumah's time was new schools. For instance, in this country, every city or every town has a secondary school. But we don't have that in Ghana. You have to travel from Tamale to Accra. Where we have land, there are resources at Tamale where more secondary school can be built. And that is why some of us actually hail the E-blocks as a panacea to Ghana's problem. Because if I can beg to differ that if those 200 or 100 and plus e-blocks that were started were to be completed, we may not be where we are today and be running the ship. Don't forget, when Mills came in, Mills introduced elimination of schools under 3. And a lot of schools were removed. But what do we see today? Now we are no more running schools under 3, but we are running the ship. So the question is, are we going forward or we are retrogressing? These are things everybody should be conscious of. So establishing new schools, that creates employment. Because when you establish a new school in my village, for instance, a new secondary school, there are so many JSS around that will act as the feeder schools to the secondary schools. So you complete that secondary, you complete the GSA. Yours is to move straight to the secondary school in your locality. There will not be a need for boarding housing where you move a child from the parents to come and live a solitary life in Accra. You cannot monitor. It doesn't exist. Those are 18th century policies. Currently, you are in UK. How many schools have you seen for boarding school? So is it fair to practice it? Those are things we need to make conscious effort. Your son goes to school, GSS, SSS, he comes back. You monitor his progress. You buy the books for him. So he doesn't move from Tamale and come and stay in Accra for the rest of his life or for the 3 years.
Okay, doctor.
So to me,
hello, doctor.
yes.
Yeah, I know you have a lot to tell us, but due to time constraints, I still have to go on and say that having all this manifesto thing, do you think that this manifesto has addressed the issue of having a sustainable and meaningful job for young people and the population as a whole?
Why not? They have outlined a lot of things. For instance, in aviation, currently the Kotoka International Airport is on sale or have been sold. When this is reversed, it's going to create meaningful employment. Kumasi and Tamale Airport were going to be upgraded into international airports. So we are not going to concentrate only in Accra. So those are jobs, permanent jobs, they are going to create. Look at the upgrade of the port at Takoradi. They will extend it to Sekandi. Those are twin cities. And that's job creation. Kita. Currently we have a director for ports at Kita. But what do we see? Not even a stone was laid there. If Kita should have a specialized port, as indicated in the NDC manifesto, you can see the timid youth in Kita who have employment. Let's go to Hamile, where they promised to build the inland port. All the cargoes that goes to Burkina Faso, they may not be dealt with in Kama or Takradi.
Okay.
So
Thank you so much, Dr. Diza. I know the time is still of essence, so can you give us your final words as we go back into the studio and try to get other people's opinion from different spectrums?
My final word is this.
Yes, sir.
We need to differentiate between lies and the truth.
Right.
Currently, no country in the world commission hospital beds on the football field. Hospitals
Say that again.
Currently,
Yes.
no government
Yeah.
in this 21st century commissions hospital beds on the football field. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
No government regards construction of toilets as projects. Not even ambulance, because those are things that if you build a hospital, it's a package. It goes with all those things. But for you to go and provide maybe beds, the problem of Ghana in the health sector is not about beds. It's about hospital, construction of new hospitals. When the hospital is constructed, the funds are acquired in such a way that it comes with beds, it comes with generator, it comes with ambulance. So for a government to pride itself in such things, it's despicable.
Okay.
So my final word is this. As we go, or Ghanaians go into the election, we just need to be conscious and know what to do. We know the unemployment rate in the country. So it's our responsibility to advise our parents back home. Study both manifestos and see which one has potential, has future for your children, children. Because when all this infrastructure, Kita Port is built,
Okay.
something that is served for generations.
Yes. Dr. Dija, thank you so much for your contribution, and we really appreciate your contribution. You're still listening to Omega Live TV, all the way from London. You are listening to Omega Live TV, all the way from London. Welcome back to Omega Live TV, all the way from London, and you are with me, Musa Adamu, and my panels from NDC UK Ireland, and we are having the Manifesto Hour. Thank you so much. As we just listened, we heard from Dr. Peter Dija, who is a human resource development expert. He is a great man. He's giving us a lot of insights. Very quickly, I'm going to go into just 1 minute each to our panelists, and then we'll have to put the telephone numbers out in a second for you to also call in and tell us what you're thinking. Mr. Roger, your reaction on Mr. Dija's comment?
Thank you very much. Clearly, Mr. Dija has actually showed this confidence in our manifesto, that our manifesto is practical. It deals with the essential sectors of our economy. Is going to create an enable environment for economic takeoff, for economic growth. So, from what I learned from him is more or less like, yes, this is a time Ghanaians must back NDC's manifesto to see the transformation that President Dramani Mahama is promising is going to bring to Ghanaians.
Fantastic. So the transformations that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and Professor Nana is going to bring to Ghanaians. Let's go to Mr. Conrad.
Yeah, I think Dr. Dija has hit the nail on the head. I mean, every development economist will tell you exactly what he has told you. You cannot build a country without the critical infrastructure you need to move. You move on. So I'm glad that he sees the light as we have done. Look, when the great Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was building Tema Motorway, even Tema Township, that now is a city on its own, Akosombo Dam, the likes of Dr. Buzia and Dr. David Dankwa and the opposition at the time said he was engaging on vanity projects. Today, Akosombo is not even enough. That is what it means. See, so this big push is to take us to the next level. Imagine if we had a big push every 10 years in Ghana, we won't be where we are. COVID-19 exposed us. Take John Mahama out of the equation, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama out of the equation. Where would we have been on COVID-19? The hospitals we fell on, University of Ghana Medical Center, where our health minister went to rest when he had COVID-19. East Hospital, International Maritime Hospital, Rich Hospital Expansion, Bank Hospital, where the government decided to designate as the villa for their big shots to go. That tells us that we need critical health infrastructure for the next COVID-19.
Fantastic. Hold it on. Let's go on so that we can get as many reactions from our viewers. Because yes, we can be talking to ourselves. Yes, we can be listening into ourselves. But we also need to listen to those who are out there and what they think. And so you are still watching Omega Live TV from London, and it's NDC Manifesto Hour. To call us and tell us what you think and what your reactions is to tonight's program, you can call us on this number. It's 075 1277 6777. And I will say that again. 075 127 76777. And if you are calling from outside the country, you have to add +44. So please feel free and call in. Feel free and call us. So as we're still waiting for our callers to call in, or anyone who has just heard the number, I will still repeat the number, and it's 075 127 76777. Call us in the studio, and you are free to tell us on the topics that we have talked about on the NDC Manifesto.
So whilst we
wait,
there's
yes.
one other, I would call one small thing. It's a major and transformational thing that we are looking to do as part of our job creation thing. The 1 million coders program. Not sure if you've heard it. The plan there is to ensure that we train.
Please hold on, there's a call coming in. Hello, good evening and welcome to Omega TV Live. Who am I speaking to? Hello?
Hello, good evening. This is Dr. Ambrose Amenshia.
And Dr. Ambrose, where are you calling from, sir?
I'm calling from Bradford in the UK.
Bradford. Okay, what's your take on it, please? Let's make it very nice and snappy as people call in, please.
Okay. I've been watching the program, but I just want to make two statements and I will leave.
Thank you.
Considering the NDC big push, the major intent or factor is what we call local content.
Okay.
The policy aimed at all the policy documents in respect of the 10 million big push is going to be undertaken by local people in terms of contractors, expertise, engineers, and even the materials that are needed will be material that will be, used in the country, or we will get all those materials from the country. And another thing that is unique with this policy is the commitment. Since independence, if you take out Nkrumah, this is the time that you've gotten a policy document that is committed to develop the infrastructure in the country. And no nation will develop without infrastructure. If you go to Dubai, what resources do they have? They are earning on the infrastructure that they've done. If you go to Singapore and those places, they developed through what? Infrastructure development. And if you don't have commitment, a government that is committed in doing such a project, you get nowhere. So the uniqueness of this project or this 10 million big push is the local content in it, because the people that are going to benefit, and I'll give you an example. NDC has done it before. If you go to the Ghana Gas project, it is 100% owned by Ghanaians. It is 100% being operated by Ghanaians. Okay. And when you go to the, I'm going away. And if you talk about the TVET, NDC has done it before. During the NDC 8-year period, we got what you call professional integration program that we established at Petroleum Commission, where we attach our petroleum experts, the graduates, to expertise to learn from. That is why we were able to drive away the few expertise from Sinopec, from Ghana Gas plant, and now our people are managing the plant.
Okay,
so the local content policy is a key factor in this 10 billion or 10 million big push.
Okay,
and that is going to benefit the nation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution. As we all heard, it is a great thing that has happened to Ghana. Let's make sure that we continue to support this great manifesto that is coming from the National Democratic Congress. Let's go in for our next caller.
Hi. Good evening.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Omega Live TV. Your name and where you're calling from, sir?
Good evening. My name is Freddie. I'm calling from London.
Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome.
Chapter youth organized. I just want to congratulate you for a very good job, and also to inform people that when this Tibet comes in, we will not only create jobs for those people in the vocational and technical aspect, but we also boost up our technological market as well. Because imagine somebody in Prombugu knows how to build a mini car, or knows how to build a mill factory, or knows how to build a corn mill, a small factory. It will boost our economical and the technological field as well. So with the NDC's manifesto, the People's Manifesto, it is quite clear that we are only not thinking about today. We are thinking about the future, the new generations to come, and we're going to set up the whole country in a direction upon which, when you look back 10 years time or 20 years time, you will find out that we ourselves have been able to increase our internal revenue by making sure that we put on so many structures, boosting up the economy, boosting up our resources and all those things. So I will encourage everyone, whether you're in the UK, whether you're everywhere, wherever you are in the diaspora, try and tell your people back home to vote and campaign for President John Dramani Mahama. Because if you look at we in the diaspora, we talk of the Kotoka International Airport, those built by President Mahama, expansion of Jama and Takrade Harbour, it's also built by President Mahama. If you look at the Kumasi Airport and the Tamil Airport, all built by President Mahama. All these things have links to we in the diaspora as well. And if you look at our currency, for instance, at first, when President Mahama was there, it was around 1:5 or 1:4. Now we are looking at 1:7, which does not help we in the diaspora, because now you need something that you need £1 to £1 will buy. Now you need more than £7. You understand? So I would encourage everyone, whether you're in Ghana, whether you are in the diaspora, let's encourage and support the president.
Thank you. Mr. Freddie, can you round up, please, as we try to get as many people in as possible?
Yes. So thank you also for a very good job, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was Mr. Freddie Kotogbo. He is the organizer, the youth organizer for NDC UK and Ireland chapter. You still listening into Omega Live TV from London, and you are listening into the NDC Manifesto Hour, which today we've been talking more about the big push, creation of job, one of it which is called the Ajumapa, and also training and development skills for young people in the country. As we still wait for other people to call in, I can see that my panelist, Mr. Roger, wants to say something.
Yes, quickly. I cannot talk about this our manifesto without mentioning the Okada. It's quite an interesting chapter in our manifesto to legalize Okada.
Sorry, there's a caller in. Hello, good evening and welcome to Omega Live. Who am I speaking to?
I think they're explaining the matter very well.
Hello, good evening, sir. Hello, good evening. You are live on Omega TV. Who am I speaking to? Okay, he couldn't stand. Let's go on.
Yeah, you know, this Okada legalization of.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Omega Live. You are on NDC Manifesto Hour. Who am I speaking to, please?
Yeah, hello. My name is Annie. I'm calling from East London.
Hello, Annie. Welcome to the program. What do you have for us?
I'm so happy about your explanation. Everything. It's my first time I'm watching this program. Thumbs up to NDC. I was so happy. And whatever you said, I think it will, all Ghanaians will change their mind and vote for NDC coming the elections. So well done to you guys.
Wow, thank you very much, Annie. And keep watching. We do this program. It's going to continue to the election day and it's going to be every other Sunday. And please don't miss it. Tell somebody to tell somebody else. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
All right, bye.
Yeah, as I was talking about Okada, Okada has come in at a time when Accra or Accra is becoming very, very congested in terms of traffic. You know, with Okada, as it stands today, people can sometimes come off their cars, jump on Okada to get to their destination. So legalizing Okada is about identifying the particular problem and trying to help resolve it by legalizing Okada. That will not stop there. We need to expand our road network. But as we have now, the problem is congestion. Okada can help some of us in the meantime as we plan to expand our road network to ease traffic congestion.
That is a very good point. As you said, Okada is a way, as it is, it's not going to be free for all. It's going to be something that is going to be regularized. It's also going to be monitored to make sure that they do the right thing.
Yeah.
And
just
this,
to add to what my brother has said, see, commercial drivers should not be very worried that Okada is going to come and they are going to take a hit. Because in that manifesto, we have something for them. We have said that if you are importing any commercial vehicles, it is going to be free of duty, no duty at the ports. So that will go a long way to help you expand your fleet of taxis, of trotros, and lower your cost of business as well to make you competitive. You know, so Okada is not, like my brother has rightly said, it is not to take rob Peter and give pay Paul. No.
Good. We are not going to rob Peter to pay Paul. As we're still waiting for phone calls, please keep calling on 075 127 76777. And I'll say that again, 075 127 76777. And you are listening to Omega Live TV from London, and it's NDC Manifesto Hour.
Yeah. So I was making a point on the 1 million coders program. So I'll just try and land it before a next caller comes in. You see, look at India. A lot of Indians in this country across the globe have acquired skills in IT and coding. You, my brother, if you can code this whole television studio to automatically work, you'll be a rich man. So we are going to ensure that 1 million people are trained in the area of coding. You know, web design, coding, give them the skills that are needed to take our economy to the next level. So that we are not only using WhatsApp all the time. Yeah. One day the next WhatsApp, the next Facebook will come from Ghana. That, you see, that's another opportunity to create jobs. And give the Skills Development Fund will train some of these coders. If you learn coding and are able to develop a program that can help transform Ghana or transform your own business and employ people, Skills Development Fund will give you the seed capital to kick it off. So there's a little bit in our manifesto for everyone.
Great. So there's a little bit in the manifesto for everyone. We're still waiting for anyone who has something to say. Please hold on, and there is a caller online. Good evening and welcome to Omega Live TV. You are on the NDC Manifesto Hour. Who am I speaking to and where are you calling from?
Hello, good afternoon. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
My name is Marilyn. I'm calling from the south of London.
Hello, Marilyn. Welcome to the Omega Live TV.
I would like to congratulate you for a good job done.
Thank you.
And this is my first time of watching you, and it has really enlightened me, especially as we all know that what makes the foreign like UK and the other European and the Western world unique is the road network and the infrastructure. We all know that people can commute all the way from outside London to come to work as a result of a good road network, good transportation. So when I heard of the big push, I was really, really impressed. And I know that Ghana is going to be, in maybe 10 years' time, Ghana is going to be a better place because we need all this. You know, we have rich resources like agricultural products. If we have good road networks, we can easily bring our foods to the cities so that will even help our agriculture to go further. And about building infrastructure, I am an educationist, and what I really loved about the manifesto is the education bit, where more schools are going to be built, because they said, the free SHS has come to stay, and without enough buildings, where are our children going to educate, or where are they going to study? We need education. Even as we have infrastructures, we need the education. We need people to educate and then come and take over the nation, especially the youth, because the old ones are growing and the youth are the future. So when they have education, they'll be able to take the country further. So I would like to really congratulate you, and you gentlemen are doing a good job. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for calling, and please, this is your first time and don't stop listening. This happens every other Sunday until December 7th. So please come again and join us. It's all about NDC Manifesto and the great job that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and his running mate, the first running mate who happens to be a female in a major political party in Ghana, which is a great milestone. We have given an opportunity for our mothers to also be a part of the nation building. Thank you. We will still be waiting. I think we have the last caller, and let's see. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Omega TV.
Hi, good evening, sir. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Yourself?
I'm great, thank you. My name is Thomas. I'm calling from Republic of Ireland. This is my first time watching this program. Let me commend you guys and say to your panelists that a work well done.
Thank you.
I am NPP sympathizer, but we are all working towards achieving a good Ghana or a better Ghana going forward. So having listened to your program and also having looked at your manifestos, I want to touch on one thing. Just like I said, I'm coming from Ireland, and for that matter, I'm going to use Ireland as my reference point.
Can we make it a bit short because we're running out of time, and we also have other people calling in, please. Yeah.
Right. I've been in Ireland for the past about 20 years, right?
Yeah.
And when I came in here, when road network were very poor, no hospitals, no schools, and everything were in shambles, there were no investors coming in here. And after the country started working on their road networks, their schools, their hospitals, there came in a Celtic tiger. And if you want to find out what a Celtic tiger is when the Irish economy got boom.
Yeah.
Right? And they came in because the people who were coming in here now know that if they site their business here, they're going to have hospitals, they're going to have a good road networks, there's going to be a good transportation system for their workers and they themselves. So bring it out to what your manifesto says. It tells me that if we can bring up all these good projects that former President Mahama is seeking to implement, very soon we're also going to have a Celtic tiger in Ghana.
Fantastic. So we're going to have a Celtic tiger. Thank you so much. And as you said,
sir.
You are an MPP sympathizer who have been touched by the manifesto, and that is how we build a country. I'm very, very happy to hear this, and thank you so much. We look forward to hear from you again. Have a great evening.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So we almost up to the end, and I think if there is a number that's been calling from Germany, if you can call back, I'll try to pick you on before we let you go. But before then, because of time reason, I want you gentlemen, starting from you, Mr. Roger, to give us your final thoughts on this, as we're still waiting for this particular person who has been calling from Germany that I've not been able to pick. I feel really, really sorry. So please call back and we'll see.
My closing remark will be at least simple. No matter what job you're looking for, if you go to the job, your manager is going to interview you, your employer is going to interview you, what you can do, and he will tell you, this is what I want my job to be done, and see if you can do it. We have a situation where President Mahama now is going back to the people and want their vote. We expect the people to tell us what they want, as they did this time, and whatever everybody wants, we put it in our manifesto. Now everybody is able to relate themselves to our manifesto. That is why the manifesto is making so much waves. Mahama is coming to serve Ghanaians, not for Ghanaians to serve him. He is coming to power to serve Ghana. So he's going to do what Ghanaians want, not what he wants.
Thank you.
So thank you.
So that is from Mr. Roger, a businessman and the treasurer of NDC UK Ireland chapter. He says Mahama is here. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is here to serve and not to be served. So we go to Mr. Conrad. Your final thoughts.
Yeah, so I think my final thought, I earlier on said, look, there's something in it for everyone in this manifesto. You see, the last point I wanted to make there was on the financial sector industry that in the name of cleanup has been destroyed. We will restore it, give the local banks the power they had. If your bank was taken away unjustly, you'll get it back. Those 48,000 jobs that have collapsed as a result of those collapsed banks, we will make sure the banks are back. We will put the commanding heights of the financial sector in Ghana back into the hands of Ghanaians, and the jobs will be created. But this evening, we have been able to tell you that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is looking to create opportunities through the big push, scale you up, scale Ghanaians up through apprenticeship, TVET, and all that stuff, to take advantage of those opportunities through the jobs, a Jumapa, that will be created from the big push. And I commend this good initiative to the good people of Ghana. Inshallah, come 7th January 2021, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will be sworn in, the second coming, and he's in to save Ghanaians from the mess that we currently have. So thank you for listening to us, and make sure your family in Ghana vote for progress, vote for the future of Ghana, vote for NDC.
Yes, that is on the NDC's manifesto. Now we have to look critically at what is going on in Ghana, and this is specific on the issues going on in the Volta region, the insecurity situations that is happening there. We are also going to be talking on what is going on with the electoral register, the monumental failure, the issues that is going on in Ghana. It is a worrying situation, and I would like you gentlemen to tackle that. What is your take on how the EC has handled our electoral register?
Thank you very much, Mr. Adamu. You know, this EC came in with so much change. They wanted to come in. Thank you, sorry. You know, we had, the EC has been working fantastically since the insertion of the 1992 constitution. We had an EC that brought in opposition party and took them back to opposition and brought in a new party. So our electoral commission has been fantastic, working fairly until we decided that Nana Akufo decided to change the hardworking Charlotte to say that's the beginning of our problem in our electoral system. Our current EC is not in to play fair game. They have an agenda. They have come in to make sure they renew Nana Akufo-Addo's presidency, whether Ghanaians like it or not. They tried. The first stage was the registration during COVID-19, and Ghanaians were brave enough to go out and register in their numbers. They saw that no, the way this is going, it's a signal that no, people are so fed up that they cannot wait to change government. So the NPP have come up with another agenda to make sure they disenfranchise so many people in large scales. I mean, you go to some police stations where you have only out of 800 and something, you only have 35 people on the register. It cannot be an error like that. Errors used to happen before. You see 3 people missing, 4 names missing. But this, we're talking about 800 people out of from a register. It cannot be just a typo mistake or computer error. It's a deliberate plan to make sure this election is being rigged in favor of Nana Akufo-Addo. And Ghanaians will not sit down and watch this thing happen. So we have come up with our point that we are not going to allow this to carry on. The proper correction must be made. The LAC must be open, transparent to all of us, so that we can go into this election making sure, protecting the peace we have in Ghana. You disenfranchise one person is a crime against our constitution. Every Ghanaian must be allowed to take part in our election and vote for who he or she believes can lead them. That's what I could say on the manifesto, on the Electoral Commission. But they should not take Ghanaians for granted, thinking that Ghanaians are not angry enough. The Ghanaian populace are very angry. They want to see this government out of power as soon as possible. If you hold elections today, this government is going to leave power. So what's going to happen with this voter register? I heard they were going to open one-day registration that is on the 1st of October. What's the purpose of that? I've never heard a situation where you open a registration for just one day, from morning 7 o'clock to 5 p.m. and then you close. There's something amiss. But NDC, with our vigilance, you make sure the right thing is done. And we cannot close our eyes for 1 second in these elections. Otherwise, Nana Akufo-Addo knows he's gone already. Okay. It's only a matter of time.
Thank you. Let's go to Mr. Conrad.
Yeah,
your take on those.
I mean, I'll touch on the EC one quickly and go back to Togoland.
Okay.
You see, it is not the appointment of a person to the EC that is the problem. Especially with somebody like Jean Mensa, who, when he was with the IEA, knew the best way to run an election and gave Dr. Farijan and Charlotte say all the lectures on what to do. Having been put in now, is doing the complete reverse. You see, one constituency, you go to Asawasi, if you listen to News File yesterday, you have one constituency. You see, when we did the registration, the Comas announced to us that about 17 million people have registered, right? So they had an idea. You go and you print register. When you are coming back, did you check that the register you are bringing back for exhibition has got that 17 million? From Garu down to Asawasi, down to Accra, people's names are missing. They are holding cards. You've registered them, you've issued them cards, their name is not there. What checks happened? This is complete. Incompetence is a very generous way to use on it. Look at Asawasi constituency. As we said yesterday, our National Communication Officer said yesterday, you registered them. We all got a copy of the interim, the list of if you like, the list that was compiled before you went to actually formalize it. When you bring it back, 3,900 people's names are missing. Surprise, surprise, another 1,000 people's names are in there. Nobody knows where they came from.
Wow.
And they were busy printing cards for people at the EC without members of IPAC, the other political parties being there. Unprecedented. EC always works with other parties. Now, it is clear when you look at all these things, I can smell an elephant in this. I'm not saying it for nothing. There's only one person. Why is it that the NDC that is screaming? Because for the first time in the history of our country, we can't even get an election register. I know the thing that pains me most, or saddens me. By law, we should have a final register no later than 60 days to 7th of December, election day. Work back 60 days from 7th December is 7th what? By midnight, 6th of October, which is basically in less than a week and a half, we should have a register. Will we get there? The EC is driving Ghana at 1,000 miles per hour into a constitutional crisis. Very related to that is this Togoland thing. They joke about Western Togoland. A bunch of people from nowhere, no one knows them, put tires on the road and burn them. Government suddenly assumes it's some group. The group says, we didn't do it. In any case, our sponsor is Dr. Lecha, Achibada Lecha, the regional minister, water regional minister, and we didn't do it. Government insists we did it. You know what? They will take that as an excuse to send back battalions of soldiers back to the Volta region, which is a stronghold of the NDC, to intimidate voters. So if you look at it, it's a grand scheme. You know, they say when a man is drowning, he will clutch onto straws.
Exactly.
This MPP government, and you know the elephant is very heavy. When the elephant hit water, even a ship can't keep them afloat. They are sinking faster than a huge rock. And all they are doing is they are trying to drive Ghana into chaos. It's simply, I take it or I destroy it. Ghanaians must stop that. This has never happened in Ghana. We're a beacon of democracy, and we should not conduct ourselves so disgracefully.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so grateful that today we had opportunity, and I have a message for our people in Ghana. Ghana has done a lot for democracy. If for nothing at all, we are considered as a beacon of democracy in Africa. We have got history, and we've got a lot for others to look at us and learn. We have come a long way, and we will plead to every single person who is got something to do with the way we do politics and run our country. Because don't forget, after you, someone else would be taking over the country. There's no way one particular party or an individual can run forever. Governance is continuity. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama handed over this presidency to His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo without a problem. You inherited this country in a very peaceful manner. Ghana needs to know that we can trust you and continue to enjoy the peace that we have. It's been over 48 hours since the unfortunate incident happened at the Volta region. That is a so-called separatist attempt to get themselves away from Ghana. We have not heard anything from His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Is it a deliberate thing that he's decided that he will not say anything at all? Or he has not heard, as sometimes he says that it's not come to his notice? If it hasn't, I would like to remind whoever is closer to His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to comment and also to come up with a lasting solution where we'll be able to get a smooth, transparent, free and fair election coming 7th December. We'll also like to appeal to Madam G. Mensah, the Electoral Commissioner of Ghana, to do the right thing. Allow other people to be involved. She can't do everything by herself. We need to work together as a team. She took over as an Electoral Commissioner. If nothing at all, she met a system. If she cannot add, she should not do anything that would jeopardize our country's future. Because the future is bigger than any other political party or any other individual. You've been listening to the Omega live TV on a program that we call NDC Manifesto Hour, coming to you live from London. I am Musa Adamu, and with me today, as we had, was Mr. Conrad, a finance professional and also a chartered accountant. And also we have Mr. Roger Boko, who is also the charter treasurer and also a businessman in London. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming, and thank you for listening. It's been amazing having you. And don't forget, a week after, which is every other Sunday, we will be right here live on Omega Live TV from London. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Brabe so ye mo